So you may have noticed that lately I've been bringing awareness to a lot of different topics, right? I started off as a personal trainer, then I wrote a book, my book Portal Tears, Drowning the Demons Beneath the Fat to keep the weight from coming back. I talked a lot about that, and then I shifted to healing and awareness about sex trafficking, awareness about all different kinds of abuse, awareness about estrangement, awareness about apologies, feeling worse after apologies. And it was brought to my attention by one of my favorite consultants, my husband, because he binge watched my episodes, and he was saying, you don't really mention that you can actually heal from all of these things. You bring all this awareness up, but you don't actually say that you can help people heal from these things, that you have a solution if you're going through this and you are in an emotional state over it and just kind of losing your mind over all of these topics that I've been discussing. And at first I got really defensive and I was like, why don't you focus on your own thing? Because he's doing his own thing called God Guy Ministries. You should check it out. It's an amazing platform about not just being a good guy, but being a God guy and what that looks like. Kind of goes well with Worthy Woman Healing, don't you think? Anyway, I got really defensive about it and I told him, listen, I did not ask for feedback because that's something I will actually tell women to do. Like say that to someone who's giving you feedback and kind of overwhelming you with critiques or criticism or feedback. Say, I'm not really looking for feedback right now. And I said that to him and God kept nudging me, nudging me. And I was like, you know what? He's right. Like, I need to make you aware that you can heal from anything. All of the topics that I've brought up to have awareness about, you can heal from. And I have witnessed it firsthand, not just in my group, but out in the world with strangers, with people I don't even know, or I wasn't planning on, it wasn't like a scheduled healing session, right? And so today I'm going to talk about that, about how awareness is crucial because you can't heal from what you're not aware of. If you're not aware that you're being abused, you can't heal from abuse. If you're not aware you're being exploited or trafficked or manipulated or gaslighted or given an apology that's really not an apology, that's manipulation. All these things that I talk about. If you're not aware that estrangement isn't okay, if you're not aware of the fifth commandment of honoring your parents, all of these topics that I've been talking about in the past weeks, if you're not aware of it, you can't heal from it. So now I need to tell you that you can heal from literally anything. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Lisa Czak, owner and founder of Worthy Woman Healing Podcast, Worthy Woman Healing Group, which meets twice a week. I'm going to be talking about that a little more today. And Worthy Woman Healing Retreats, where we go to the Caribbean in this magical place called the Samana Peninsula for 4 nights and 5 days. And we nourish our mind, body, and soul by the sea. Doesn't that sound amazing? I want to go right now. So click the link below. I also have a free gift for you, my free morning meditation. This has changed my life, which is why I introduced it to the women, the Worthy Woman Warriors, and my Worthy Woman Healing Group that meets twice a week, because they kept getting derailed by their day. Maybe this is you, right? Maybe you're not going through any of the topics that I've been talking about. Maybe those aren't your issues. Maybe you're just kind of going about your day and you get derailed. Emotions just overtake you, or you get offended, or whatever it might be. And next thing you know, like you come home and you're eating a bag of chips and downing wine and drowning in your sorrows and binge watching Netflix and doing everything you swore you wouldn't do. Well, this morning meditation will help you set your intention for the day. You need to do this every day. It doesn't take that long. It takes a couple minutes. In my Worthy Woman Healing group, I have them post it. They write it in the group every single day to encourage each other, to keep each other accountable. And just there's something special about when you write something down and you say, my intent is to be energized. My intent is to have joy no matter what happens. So on those days that you're like, oh, I have all this stuff going on, I have a really busy day, or maybe you have a hard day, maybe your estranged child has emailed you and said, I want to meet you. And you're like, oh my gosh, what's my intention for meeting her? What am I going to do? How am I going to feel? So that it doesn't ruminate in your head. That's another thing I talk about, like how to heal from rumination, the awareness that you're ruminating. That's another episode. Go back and binge watch all my episodes on all these issues that I bring to awareness. And then you can join Worthy Woman Healing and you can practice the healing. But before you even join Worthy Woman Healing, you can get started by doing the morning meditation. Steve is my amazing podcast producer, Steve Demetrius of Soundbreaker Media. Go ahead and put the link in there for them for the free morning meditation so that you can learn how to practice gratitude. Why do we care about gratitude? Everyone's like, oh, gratitude, it's all new age, whatever. No, it's not. It's biblical. God wants you to praise him, especially during the storms. In fact, in James, one of my favorite scriptures is in James 1, 2 through 12, I think it is. And it talks about how, to have joy during the trials because it builds perseverance and it builds faith. And your reward in the end is the crown of life. Doesn't that sound amazing? Don't you want to have the crown of life? So how do you be joyful during trials? Is every single day you practice gratitude. You wake up with gratitude. And that's one of the things that I teach you in the morning meditation, the free morning meditation that I'm giving you for free. You don't even have to pay for it. And then when you join Worthy Woman Healing group, you get to be in the private Facebook group and you can post all of this every day, your gratitudes. You can post your intention. You can post your celebrations. Celebrations are just saying, wow, look at the progress that I have made on the journey to look at all the evidence I have and being the woman that God has created me to be. That's what a celebration is. But click the link below. It'll make more and more sense when you actually listen to the video. It's only 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to change the course of your day, change the course of your week, your month, your year, your life. Okay? So all of these issues that I've talked about, I wouldn't say a lot, I would say across the board, every single woman that has come to me has been to counselors, therapists, pastoral counseling, pastors. They have been to psychiatrists, psychologists. They have been on a lot of different medications that they've tried and gone off. They have extra fluff on their body because they are eating to numb out because they don't know what to do with all these big feelings that they have from all of these issues that they have experienced in their life, all these circumstances that they have experienced in their life, things that I've talked about already: exploitation, abuse, trafficking, estrangement. Just those are things that I consider like major traumas. And then there's also other just trauma from childhood. So they don't know what to do with all of these big feelings and just day-to-day things also, right? A lot of them suffer from panic attacks. And they come into the group and they're like, oh, they talk a lot. They want to spill it all out because they're used to talk therapy, which only gets you so far. Talk therapy is okay if you've never told anyone, your story or your experience or your circumstance. You just kind of want to get it off your chest to a trusted individual. But if that person's not giving you tools to put in your toolbox to actually use when you do get triggered from different things, it's not really going to get you anywhere. And it's a longer term thing, right? It's just going to take longer. Whereas the healing technique that I teach you, you actually learn how to master your mind and emotions so that you can have peace and clarity on the next steps to take in your life. And I got certified in this healing technique because I noticed it's really hard as a coach, as a faith-based trauma healing coach. It's really hard to coach somebody when they are in an emotionally reactive state. And they're not going to be able to know, to have clarity about what to do next with this issue that they have, right? People are coming to me because they have a problem they want to solve. Maybe their boss is, an abusive jerk. They don't know how to handle their boss. Maybe their child has cut them off and they don't know how to handle that. They're in a relationship or a marriage where they don't feel loved, they don't feel cherished. They're in an financially abusive situation. They've been trafficked, but they don't even know they don't even have that word for it yet, right? There's all different reasons that women come to. They have extra fluff on their body. They've tried everything to lose weight. I'm a personal trainer also. They've tried everything to lose weight, and it's like a boomerang. The weight keeps coming back, and it's because they haven't drowned the demons beneath the fat to keep the weight from coming back. Just like my book says. Pick up a copy of my book, Portal Tears. Steve, can you put it up there, please? So anyway, I hear this all the time. Lisa, there's no way I can heal from this. This is something that keeps happening. I can't stop it. A lot of the women, most of the women I work with turn to food, sugar, junk for comfort, to numb out. And they're like, I've been doing this for so long. There's no way I can stop. There's no way I can heal from this. And in our session, they heal like it's quick. It's like an hour session that I have with women, right? For private sessions, which I also offer, or the group is an hour and a half. And, we heal, and I make sure everybody gets a chance. Nobody walks out of that group not healed. Nobody walks out of that group feeling worse. Everyone that comes into my healing group walks out feeling better than when they came in. That's a guarantee. It just always happens. And that's because God's in there with us too, right? I'm not taking any of the credit here. This is totally God and you healing. I'm facilitating it. And it's just simply getting out of your mind and going into your body. Because if you're somebody who has had a lot of physical symptoms, I hear all the women I work with have some kind of physical symptoms, whether it's extra fluff on their body, whether it's migraines, stomach issues, a lot of inflammatory issues, a lot of inflammation, high blood pressure, you name it, I've seen it, and I've helped them heal from any of those ailments, because you have to get out of your mind and go into your body, because you're storing all of those emotions somewhere in your body. And that's why they're coming out as physical symptoms. And that's why you're having these strong, big emotional reactions, and you feel stuck in your life, and you don't know how to get out of it. And there's one woman in particular who every single time, she's been with me for 2 years, and she still will say to me, Lisa, there's no way I can heal from this. There's no way I can heal from this. I think it's impossible. It's impossible. And I say, okay, where do you feel that in your body? It's like an onion. We keep peeling it away. And every single time she feels better. And so if you're curious about this and would like to join Worthy Woman Healing, I would love to invite you into our next healing group. We meet twice a month. We meet on the second and fourth Tuesday at 7:15 Central. And I dare you to come in there and challenge me. Be like, Lisa, there's no way I'm going to heal from this. No way. And how do you know when you're healed from something? You know you're healed from something when there's no emotion attached to the memory. You can just rattle it off like a cupcake recipe. Like I can rattle off every chapter in that book that I wrote about how I got in the best shape of my life and was then groomed, exploited, trafficked, and found out recently labor trafficked. I'm going to have to do a whole episode about that, by a sexual predator that I'd known since high school. See how I rattle that off, right? Like a cupcake recipe. Now, I couldn't always do that. When I was writing that book, whoo, it was a mind fuck. It was like, it was tears, and I had to keep healing over and over and over again, doing the healing technique that I teach you in Worthy Woman. I also offer private sessions. If you'd like to do a free private session, we can arrange that also. Steve, if you can put that link in there, because maybe you're not ready for a group yet. Maybe you're not ready to be in a group environment. You feel too vulnerable. You haven't built the safety and the trust up. So we can start one-on-one. I will tell you this though. The thing that I love about this healing technique that I use is you don't even have to share with me what's going on. You don't have to. In fact, I prefer that you don't, because I don't want you to stay up here. So I'm going to give you an example, two examples of strangers. So one example, I was in a gym class, a new gym class, didn't know anybody, and I see this woman, and I can tell she's having a panic attack. I can tell because I've worked with a lot of women in the moment who have panic attacks. And I've also had panic attacks. And everyone else is like, oh my gosh, call 911, because she's saying, I feel like I'm dying. I think I'm dying. I think I'm dying. Everyone else is like, call 911, call 911. I'm like, back away, people. Because I knew it was happening. And so I just asked her, I said, okay, you're dying. How do you know you're dying? Because I know I'm dying. I know I'm dying. Okay, you know you're dying. How do you know you're dying? Where do you feel I'm dying in your body? And she's like, my heart, my heart, my heart. Right? She's panicking. She's having a panic attack. So I'm like, okay, put your hand there and describe the physical sensation to me. So she described it. I said, rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. So she rated it. And we went through the process. And after probably about 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes at the most, she was fine. And she never told me anything. She never shared anything personal with me. She never told me what was going on. She didn't know. And she's like, how did you do that? Who are you? What did you do? I said, I didn't do anything. It's all God. Okay. I just facilitated. And the key to healing from a panic attack is to lean in. The key to healing from anything is to lean into the feeling. Lean in your body. Where do you feel it in your body? Lean into it, because what we resist persists. And she's like, I've been to psychiatrists, psychologists, pastors. She had some kind of deliverance thing done in her body to get rid of evil spirits. She had all this stuff done, and she said nothing has ever worked. And then this worked, and she became a great client. I just love her to death. And then I was doing a book signing for Portal Tears, and at the same gym, actually, I was doing a book signing. And I see this mom and daughter kind of fighting with each other, right? And they were fighting over her joining the gym. The mom was pressuring the daughter to join the gym. So, of course, I insert myself into this. And I said, you seem a little distressed, and you seem, what's going on? And so she said, I don't want to join the gym because I keep having this acid reflux. It's going to get worse if I join the gym. And she's pressuring me. And I told the mom, I was like, she needs to be able to make a decision from a place of neutrality and clarity and peace. And she's not there right now. And having her make a decision in an emotional reactive state is just going to create more conflict between you. So would you be open to me doing a healing technique that I do that helps you master your mind and emotions, so that you can have peace and clarity on the next steps to take with this whole gym decision? And the mom was like, yes, please, right? Take her off my hands. I think the girl said she was about 17, which is why I asked the mom first. And so I said to her, tell me what's going on. And she said, I'm suffering from acid reflux. It's bad right now. It hasn't gone away. Nothing has helped. So I did the same thing to her that I did with the panic attack woman. And I said, okay, how do you know you're having acid reflux? And she said, well, the doctor told me that's what it's called. So you see, that's the first thing. She got this label in her head, this diagnosis. She was becoming her diagnosis. Okay, but how do you know? That's what the doctor told you, but how do you know? And she said, well, I feel it here. And I said, okay, describe the physical sensation, rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. And I did the whole thing with her. And again, about 5 to 7 minutes later, she was crying because she said it was gone. It was the first time in the past year that she didn't have acid reflux, that had been there for a year straight, never went away at all. And it got worse in situations where she felt like her mom or anybody was kind of pressuring her when she had to make a decision of any kind, right? That would happen. And her mom was like, how did you do that? What did you do? So I described to her, and the mom was there watching the whole thing. And she also became a client. So I get clients in very unusual situations and places because God puts me in the right place and puts that person in the right place so that we come together and they can go on and live their life having peace and clarity on next steps to take. And the reason it's important to, it worked right then and there because I was guiding. God was there and, I was guiding. But the thing is that you have to keep practicing because you're not a robot, right? You're going to get triggered. I tell people I heal women's minds, bodies, and souls one trigger at a time. I'm like the trigger whisperer. I should put that on a t-shirt, the trigger whisperer, because and people are like, what does that word even mean? Trigger just means that you're having a visceral reaction. You're feeling something in your body, and then all of a sudden your mind takes over and creates all these stories and scenarios and takes you back to the past, things, unhealed wounds from the past. And it's just like, you just feel like overwhelmed. Drop a heart in comments if you've ever been triggered. And tell me how do you know you're being triggered? You're being triggered because you feel it somewhere in your body. That's why talk therapy doesn't work. Because if you're feeling it in your body and you go up to your brain, your poor brain is like, I need a break here. And your body is saying, hello, tend to me. If you don't tend to me, I'm going to show up as physical symptoms, or I'm going to exacerbate the physical symptoms that you already have. So hello, Elvis. Oh, Elvis, look at Elvis. Every time I record, Steve, you can keep this part in. I told Steve, take out in the last episode, I was like, you guys, I just like screamed it out in the middle of the episode, and it was distracting. Not that this isn't distracting. Anyway, so I can't wait to see you in Worthy Woman Healing or for a free session. And if you're wondering, what am I going to do in this free session, Lisa? It's a free Stop Surviving and Start Thriving session. And in this session, you're going to become crystal clear on living life, thriving, and no longer just surviving. You're going to uncover ways you might be sabotaging yourself from thriving. And lastly, you're going to leave the session feeling renewed and energized and inspired to actually live thriving the way God wants you to live, being the woman that God created you to be. And remember, you are worth it.